I'd like to call this meeting to order. If you would follow along with the Pledge of Allegiance and an invocation by Eric Schmidt.
Our Father in heaven, we thank Thee for this wonderful day that we've been blessed with. Father, we are so grateful to Thee for the ability to get together as a city and as leaders to make the decisions that will help us thrive in this region. Father, we're very grateful to Thee for new Alderman Lucas and his willingness to serve, and especially grateful to Thee for the firefighters that we are recognizing today with their special day. Father, we're grateful for all of our aldermen, the mayor, willing to sacrifice their time to help us improve our city and our region, and for all the staff and all of our residents and visitors and businesses. We thank Thee for this ability to get together and conduct our affairs, and ask Thee for Thy power of discernment as we go through the agenda. We say these things in the name of Thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you, Chief. Madam Clerk, we get a roll call, please?
Lucas.
Present.
Denham.
That's good. Whatever.
Cooper.
I'm going to go with present as well.
Cool. Milton.
Present.
Howden.
Here.
Oh. LeBlanc.
Here.
Oh, Schultz.
Here.
LeBlanc. Your Honor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Tonight, I want to start off with a proclamation. I have proclaimed May 4th as International Firefighters Day in Branson, Missouri. Chief Martin and firefighters, would you meet me? Our firefighters are receiving this proclamation tonight because they beat the pants off the police department in the softball game. Good? You quote me on that in the paper, Jason? Okay, I'd like to read this proclamation. Whereas International Firefighters Day was established to honor and remember firefighters who have sacrificed their lives to save others, to express gratitude to those who served, and to show support and appreciation for those who presently serve. And whereas the firefighters of Branson Fire Rescue play an essential role in the protection of lives and property in our community, and are dedicated individuals who at a moment's notice are quick to respond to uncertain situations. Whereas the demands of firefighters are accompanied by personal, physical, mental, and emotional tolls that firefighters knowingly accept while risking their lives to protect the lives and properties of others. Whereas firefighters follow a long line of tradition and honor that inspires them to help colleagues, neighbors, tourists, and strangers. They protect us without wanting of any recognition and are there in our time of need with courage, compassion, and loyalty. Now therefore, I, Larry Milton, Mayor of the City of Branson, Missouri, do hereby proclaim May 4th, 2024 as International Firefighters Day, and encourage the citizens of Branson to join in remembering firefighters who died while protecting others, and to show support and appreciation to those firefighters who protect our lives and property each and every day.
In the shot again. No, I'm going to stay up here. We'll just. Do we stand?
Should we stand or sit
Stand or
back
sit?
here?
Do you want us to
Stand or
stand? Stand? Okay.
You in?
Glenn is way out there.
Larry and Ted, you're gonna go to the east side, or?
You want to get Nate down here? Hey, Nate.
Nate,
Nate.
hold up.
Thought you were slick, huh?
He's trying to blend into the background.
Is he camera shy or what's the story there?
All right, now everyone smile, because we're going to the panel.
She can feel the burn coming through. Thank you, guys. I know, I'm like, come on now.
The mayor yielded the microphone dangerously tonight, so thank you to these folks. These are on duty tonight. This represents just a portion of our staff that do great work every day here in Branson, and our fire losses reflect that in the work that they do. So thank you very much for recognizing them. Mark your calendars. Next Wednesday, 10:30, Fire Station number 4 opens officially.
How exciting is that? And we have a special recognition tonight. We'll hear a presentation from Acting Director Ross on Stormwater Division Community Outreach.
Mayor, Board of Aldermen, City Administrator Stepp, thank you for your time tonight. I would like to introduce Trayson Lawler, our City Stormwater Coordinator. Trayson has some exciting updates to share about the success of our most recent event and how it has contributed to our ongoing efforts to improve stormwater management in our city.
Thanks, Amanda. I'll give a quick kind of overview of the event, but before I do, I'm going to give some history on it and then present the results at the end. So this is the event that we did a couple weekends ago on April 13th. In 2016, Branson became a regulated municipal separate storm sewer system, MS4, and it's kind of centered around 6 main minimum control measures, or MCMs. One of those is public education and outreach, which is where this event fits in. And the reason that marking storm drains has proven to be so effective in other municipalities in the past is because it's really good at keeping pollutants out of the storm drains by stopping it at the source, which is the people. Educate and outreach to prevent anything from getting in the storm drains, which is not treated and normally goes straight to the lake. So on Saturday, April 13th, everybody met at the pavilions and at the RV park. We got there about 9 a.m. We had a sign-in. They came with predetermined groups. And once they got there, there was a big paper map. They circled a spot on the map where they would like to mark storm drains. And then they were given storm drain marking material and a brochure. And in the brochure, there was a QR code and instructions on how to mark storm drains. The QR code took them to this storm app that you can see on the left side of the screen up there. That was something that our GIS team put together, and it was really pretty neat. I know it's small up there, but the little white circles have team numbers on them. And so each time that they would mark a storm drain, they would inventory it on the app, and the number would change, and it was pretty neat to follow them around. Me and Mayor Milton actually followed them around and took pictures of them out in the field, so that was pretty neat. There was a little bit of competition aspect, and there was a live leaderboard, so you could see which team was in the lead, and that kind of motivated everybody. I think everybody really enjoyed that. And then everybody that participated got free pizza and T-shirts that said, "Careless mistakes pollute our lakes." So as a result of this event, as we had 47 participants that split off into 12 groups, and altogether they got 605 points inventoried. They inventoried 35 new storm drains, and then 365 storm drains that they marked. And 18 of those were not in our database, and we didn't have them. We didn't know where they were at. 160 of the drains were already marked, and they inventoried those, so we now have that data. And then there was 38 drains that were obstructed, so not draining properly, had leaves, sediment, debris, trash, and those actually go straight onto another web application for our streets department to then go clean out. That's all automated. And like I said, there was a competition aspect, and Team 5 ended with 95 points, and that's drains marked and also inventoried. So they got half a point for an inventoried and full point if they marked it themselves. So I think Team 5 was actually able to come. They're all from C of O. So I will welcome them to the stage. That's Jacob Lewis, Kane Beal, and Travis Wool. And I have with me an award to give to Team 5 for outstanding service in storm drain marking. So there you guys go. And that's it. So thank you guys.
Trayson, I'd like to take a minute and just thank you for your leadership, putting this program together. It may sound weird, but you have a passion for what you're doing, right? A passion for stormwater. We did this Team 5 from C of O. What a great group of guys. They took out their initial set of markings, and then they came back to get more, and came back to get more, and Trace and I and my wife Leanne, we're on the other side of town, and they call in and say, we need more. So Trayson called back to headquarters and said, do we have any more? And I think they said they had about 40 more, so we picked up the 40 and delivered them to those guys. Yeah, it was really a great event. I take my hat off to you, Trace, and I look forward to serving on the next one. This is the public comment section of the Board of Aldermen meeting. At this time, the board will hear the citizens who have signed up in the order they are listed. Please note the clerk will let the speakers know when they have 30 seconds left, and a notification will sound when their time is up. We ask that speakers wrap up their comments upon hearing the 30-second warning. If a speaker would like a board member to bring an item from the consent agenda down for additional discussion, please note this during your comments. Madam Clerk, do we have any speakers this evening?
Yes, sir. We have 3 speakers, and our first one is Deanna Slatton speaking on health safety.
Let's see, we got some new faces. Glad to have y'all. Today I'm here to see if we got anything done with those LOIs. Did anybody get anything done with those? Are we going to have a meeting with the LOIs? No answer? Okay. Those are supposed to be addressed in 5 days. It's been over 2 years. So, next thing, the consensus. Did you get that consensus that I asked for last time I was here? The consensus on your census to find out how you get your numbers for grants and stuff like that, who all you include in that census. Nobody got that for me either? Okay. So the next thing I'm coming here to tell you, 5G is a bioweapon. Once again, I'm going to tell you again, this stuff is not good on the people. It literally can control these people. It can change their DNA, alter it at any time they want to alter it remotely. They can do this. They can change atmospheres in cities with a push of a button. That's what they can do with this technology, y'all. They can also get in your bank accounts with this technology.
Mr. Mayor,
and keep
point
you
of
from
order.
being able to get your bank,
Excuse me,
keep you
Deanna.
from being able to get your money.
Deanna.
This is a
Deanna.
China-type style
Deanna.
thing that they're putting. No, I'm not going to stop until these people know.
Deanna, I just had a point of order from from an alderman. And so I must respond to that point of order. And the point of order is, public comment section is restricted to talk about city business and what this Board of Aldermen can do about city business.
That contract can be taken care of. We've already looked at it. You can void that contract. You've got 2 outs in that contract to void it. And until we get safety information on the 5G. I just talked to Navy SEAL from Team SEAL 1 today. Yesterday. And he told me that you have the power to do this.
Okay, Deanna, I know you talked to a SEAL team member, and I know you believe this also. But would you appreciate the fact that this Board of Aldermen will take legal advice from our legal counsel?
I understand you want to take legal advice. I literally understand that, but you got to understand this too. You can file a Chapter 34. You can get all of this stuff done, and plus the investigations on the COVID shots with a hydrovulgaris worm. Let's see if that's in there. Let's see if all these parasites are actually in this shot.
Point of order, Mr. Mayor.
Why are we doing a point of order again?
Because
I want my time back.
we need to
That's another
stay-
thing. These comments of, don't cut me off, these things are threatening. They're
It's not
without our
threatening.
rules.
You're not following the rules with me. You're not demeaning yourself either when
Deanna,
I'm trying to talk to you about this stuff.
simple question.
Yes.
Can you appreciate the fact that we choose to take the legal advice from the the legal firm?
But are you familiar with
I
the
didn't even get
Constitution?
to finish my question.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Can you appreciate the fact that we need to take legal advice from our legal counsel? Regardless of what your opinions are or a SEAL team member's opinions are, we need to follow the advice of our legal counsel.
Okay, follow the advice, but you know what? It's not going to work out very well for you.
Okay, but that's
Because the constituents are going to get tired of this, y'all not listening to the people. We are the people here, and these people have a right to know what's going on and how this is coming down in a form of a China-related
Point of order,
type
Point of order, Mr.
thing.
Mayor. Mr. Mayor, point of order, the conversation stops, and that's it. There's no more conversation about
You
it.
can't stop my conversation, and I want another
Mr.
minute
Mayor,
added back
Mr. Mayor,
to my
I
time.
would suggest you address decorum, and point of order's been said several times.
Yep. So, for you to continue speaking, Deanna, I need you to talk about things that this board can do. I've already shared with you, this board will follow legal advice. So if you're providing us
Then
legal
talk
advice.
to your lawyer and tell her to do the Chapter 34 so we can have investigations done on this stuff, because these are bioweapons on the people.
Okay, our attorney has chosen not to do that.
That's not good.
Okay?
She's not doing a very good job with
you
you
have-
guys right now.
Anything you can share that this board can, that has to do with Branson,
Okay, I want to
Missouri?
tell you something else about 5G, what else it's doing. Do you know that 80% of our insects are gone? Do you know that 75% of our songbirds are gone? That's because of this weaponry that's out there. And it gets worse every year. And when 6G comes in, it's going to be annihilating stuff.
So Deanna, what can this board do about that?
Chapter 34. Have your attorney look into it. That's all I'm asking. I talked about the surety bonds. I'm not going to say any more about that because I've looked into stuff. Nobody can answer me. I've called the attorney generals. I've called everybody, and nobody can actually answer me on the surety bonds.
Actually, they can answer you, and we've asked the question to our legal counsel. You've brought up surety bonds dozens of times.
And I talked to Ruth about the surety bonds, and I'm not going to ask you anymore about surety bonds.
Thank you.
Because she brought something up to me. So this is what I'm saying. If you'll communicate with me, I'm willing to work with you guys, but we've got to get this stuff off the people. We have to.
Okay.
There's way more that these people don't know what's going on. And you talk about Chinese Communist Party with all this stuff that they're trying to bring in on us, and they're part of it.
Is the Chinese Communist Party coming to Branson, Missouri?
Stuff that they put in, yes, it could. Absolutely.
And it alters our bodies. And
It can change your DNA. It can literally alter your DNA. If they target you, it can do that.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
So my issue is there has been a consistent breaking of the rules that we set forth. And even if we redirect the conversation to something that was within our rules, I've heard 4 times tonight more threats to this board, which have been ongoing for months and months.
There's
I'm
no
uncomfortable
threats.
with the threats and the veiled threats,
They're
some
not
less veiled than
threats.
others, that have come
There
from
are
this
questions
individual who
being
has come
asked.
spoken
So
at
are you going to
public
tell
comment
me
section.
that nobody can ask questions from our council? Wow.
Deanna, your council is the
You are our
Taney
council,
County
and
Commissioners.
we are the people, and we've got questions, and we've got things that need to be taken care of in this town. And
Your
these-
representatives are the Taney County Commissioners. Have you talked to them?
they won't do anything. They said this is beyond their scope, basically.
It's kind of beyond our scope.
It's not, though.
Okay,
I looked
we don't
it
need
up.
to argue.
Okay.
Thank you. Madam Clerk?
Our next speaker is Matt Kendrick, speaking on nightly rentals.
Hello, Matt.
Hey guys, how are you? Welcome to the new Aldermen. Glad to have you guys. Before I start on this, I want to thank you guys, this board, because I've only been speaking here, a couple sessions. And already you guys have taken into concern my issues. And so already a sign was put up before the train bridge. No through street, local traffic only, so I appreciate that. I see there's cameras up now, so I've started my camera research up again, just to compare. But my question is it possible to get those same signs up on Cliff Drive or on Cliff Drive before you turn on Canal, going down onto Lake Drive as well? That's just a question that I have on that as well. So, but thank you so much. Clay, and my mama told me I had to thank you again, because after seeing your show, it was like that Alan Jackson song, Remember When, because that's all she talks about. Remember when we did this and this and this. And I'll never forget that show, because we had the gentleman, his last name was Tickle. Mr. Tickle, that was the funniest last name I ever heard in my life. But guys, so I'm going to go over why I believe nightly rental approval in my neighborhood makes sense, because of the fact of just a couple reasons. One, we have a 38% owner occupancy rate in the entire neighborhood, okay? 38% are owners. Of those 13 owners, 11 approve of it, 1 does not, and I have not been able to get in touch with that other owner. She's very ill at the moment right now, okay? Second is, we're not trying to affect integrity of neighborhoods or I never even thought about nightly rentals until the RV park expanded right across the street from me. That's when I thought, okay, well, if the city is able to be zoned in, to have nightly rentals 3 steps from my house, I should be able to as well. And that is the majority of the neighborhood, as they're speaking on that as too. So that is when I became the whole nightly rental thing. Before that, I understood the position of, wanting to maintain permanent residency and long-term rentals. My wife and I, before I was diagnosed with cancer, we flipped homes. We built spec homes. I even went through a process that I had to find out. So I learned a lot about zoning and planning and zoning was because the house was located in the county, but it had city utilities. So I had to apply for zoning to get approval in the city. So I understand, what it is to how important it is to have full-term residency. full, you know. But again, it also makes logical sense when you have these numbers and the location of this neighborhood is prime to allow for nightly rentals, just because of how close it is to the landing. So, and the other thing I got, guys, I understand construction delays. Believe me, I think when I closed out, because I was diagnosed and then got sick, and then when I was finally got my occupancy permit from planning and zoning, they were like, you had the longest open permit, so thank you so much for closing this out. So I understand delays. So all we're asking for right now, and Parks and Rec has been great with corresponding back and forth with me and everything, but just the surrounding homes of the RV park right now, we're just getting hit hard with dirt, just from all the wind and the dryness. Just dirt, just a lot of just sand and dirt, just from the wind, just hitting it. I mean, I understand those berms have been put up and everything. It's just, if there's anything that can be done just to try and protect those surrounding homes, that'd be great. Thank you.
Matt, have you been through or started the process of trying to get these homes through planning and zoning?
I just filed an application.
Okay.
So how we, word it of the entire, whether they want the entire neighborhood or, I mean, if we try and get the entire neighborhood approved, that, I'm gonna tell you right now, there's gonna be a 0% chance of that because there's one owner who is not a permanent resident, who owns like 7 or 8 lots, who is against it. So for approval, we have to have warranty deeds have to be sent in, notarized, owner affidavits, and then legal descriptions all have to be uploaded from every person who is in support. We have majority. But I don't know if the entire neighborhood is necessary when maybe just within a 185-foot wall is necessary. I'm not sure. That's not for planning and zoning. That's not for you guys to decide on that. But I just think that it's fair for someone who's literally 3 steps away from a nightly rental to be able to benefit from the same thing.
Now, you said 11 of the 13 were in favor, but then you just said, I'm confused.
11, so there's 13 permanent owner-occupied residents there. Okay, so the guy who does not, so there's 2 people total that I've run into so there's 44 total lots. Okay, 44 total lots.
One of the guy owns multiple lots.
Yeah, one guy owns multiple lots,
I got you.
and he's not a full-time resident.
Okay.
And he's opposed to this.
He's opposed to this, right? Yep. So.
But you've started the process.
Started the process, so we'll see. Again, I mean, I don't know exactly how the wordage or the verbiage needs to be I can tell you by the map that I have here, the property owners that are surrounding the RV park, it's unanimous approval. The people who are directly surrounding the RV park. That's unanimous. Everybody's okay with that.
So all these people would just pack up and move and start renting out the place, or what's the plan?
No, I mean, no, not that, but I mean, just give it an option. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not, it's just to have the option there, just to do with something else with their property that they want to do. Not everybody. I mean, for example, my neighbor, she has a double lot. She's widowed. She's in her 70s. She said, I'm obviously not going to move out and rent my house nightly, but when I die and pass it on to my kids, if they want to do it, then they have that option.
I got you. Yeah.
So for me, yes, I would move out because, I mean, I see the RVs and I'm one of the houses that's most affected, and I'm okay with that, guys. I understand, some of you guys know my story now. I have my baby girl, so I'm so happy that all this money from the campground goes to Parks and Rec. I love that. I can't wait to start experiencing all those places, with my daughter. But I would use it, personally, I would use it as a nightly rental and stay in Branson in the ward, buy another house. And I know there's other owners that are long-term, that have long-term rentals right now that would convert over to nightly.
Well, thank you very much. I know we've heard your story. I think many of us are in agreement with you. I'll be curious to see how
we
this
can
goes
get-
through P&Z.
Sure, thanks, guys. Thank you for your time.
I have a comment. So it's quite interesting. So when you first came to us, when we had the public meeting about the campground, you were adamantly against the campground because it was going to create an eyesore. You were going to see campers in your front yard. You probably took it as we were going to have blatant disregard for your privacy and all of these things. And then you came back and it became a safety issue because the campground's going to create more traffic, and you're seeing it already, and the campground's not even open. And now you want nightly rentals. So what's your position, I guess? Because you've hit us with at least 3 or 4 different excuses for not having the campground, and now you want nightly rental, but you're willing to do that with blatant disregard because the community, the way it's written is that 100% of the residents have to be in agreement in order to allow for nightly rental. And you're saying to hell with the guy that doesn't want it because he's not a full-time resident, but he still owns property here. In fact, he owns 7 of those properties.
He does.
So you're willing to disregard his rights as a resident to satisfy yours? Is that your position?
No, it's not my position on that. And you're right, I was adamantly against the RV park when it was first proposed. And you know, my views on that, as talking with city staff on that and explaining how that they have gone above and beyond, you know, to build that fence that they didn't have to do and adding a sidewalk, and you know, so it's changed my position on that. And I didn't know that all the money, the funds from that went to Parks and Rec on that. Now, I never brought up that the extra RVs going into that campground would cause a safety issue. The safety issue on the traffic was about how it's being used as a thoroughfare.
But that's been going on for,
But it's
I
increasing.
mean, I've been living in that community now for 4 years, and that's been going on for 4 years. So
but it's
it's been going on longer than that.
It's increasing every year. I mean, I can tell you since Friday, since I saw the cameras on Boxcar Willie, just from 10 a.m., when I saw that camera, that's when I turned I adjusted mine, 10 a.m. to midnight, 775 cars. And I think, you know, for me having a child being in my front yard trying to play, 775 cars creates an enormous safety issue.
Well, I would say you have a pretty sizable backyard, and that
I
would be
do,
an
but so-
extremely safe. I mean, how many feet from the road to your front door is it? I think probably within 30 feet. Is that
Right,
correct?
so, but
so
now
why
I'm
does it
being-
make sense to play in the front yard when you have a sizable
Because
backyard?
it's my right, because it's my right to play.
Exactly, it's your right.
Right.
Okay, I have grandkids that play in my yard. I live just on the other side of the park. I guess my issue right now is the fact that you've hit us with 4 different excuses for not having a campground, wanting to close the thoroughfare. I mean, just so many different things. And to what is your ultimate ask? Like, you're wanting nightly rental, but you're willing to disregard other residents' rights to have nightly rental.
I'm just asking for a majority, and we have a majority approval for that.
That's not the way it
Okay.
goes.
Okay, so I didn't know that, because is what amazed me though on that, when the city was allowed to approve their zoning request, it wasn't 100%. But then now you're telling me for the residents to get it approved, it has to be 100%.
Okay, I don't think we're going to solve anything here. These questions, Ralph, will be answered when it goes through P and Z.
Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Clerk?
Our final speaker is Gary Groman, speaking on really.
Speaking on what?
Really?
Oh,
Maybe?
on really.
Question mark?
Got it.
Just want to let you know that first speaker does not represent me. I live here. You're my representatives. I come to you and I try to speak about things that are consistent with what the regulations call for, out of respect for you and your time. And I would expect that I appreciate you trying to enforce the rules so that the meetings can proceed in an orderly manner. Were it me, it would have been over by now. Might not have been pretty, and I might not have been reelected, but it would have been over by now. The traffic on Boxcar Willie Drive that runs by that gentleman's thing, I travel that road at least 10 times a week. I don't believe I've ever seen an accident on there. Well, I've never seen an accident. I can say I have no belief. I've never seen an accident. That trestle actually operates as a filter because people have to stop and let cars through one after the other. And then we're concerned about traffic, but what do we want to do? We want to put an Airbnb down there, and I think on average, if you have an Airbnb, there's more cars and more traffic from Airbnbs. If they couldn't get down that street, they're going to be going up Billy Goat Hill and going through an area where you got cross streets and everything else. All I would suggest is I don't see a safety problem there. I think Alderman had a good idea there. You got a big backyard. We've all raised kids. We've all had to deal with traffic. You just do the best you can. I haven't seen a huge amount of traffic or traffic jams or anything else. I think it's much ado about nothing, and I would appreciate you acting very slowly, because otherwise you're going to force the people that are down there to go up through Billy Goat Hill, and you're going to deprive our citizens of a convenient way to get around. All our streets ought to be open to our citizens. We can assume that they're going to drive safely and obey the rules. The rules that are in place are so that nobody's going to get hurt. That's it. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Gary. You'll have an opportunity to address that at V&Z. Madam Clerk?
There are no more speakers.
Okay, so next is the consent agenda. Are there any items that any member of this audience would like to have moved down from the consent agenda to ask additional questions or comments? Any items the board would like moved down? Hearing none. Madam Clerk, would you please read the consent agenda?
Your Honor, the items on the consent agenda are as follows. Approval of the Board of Aldermen minutes for the April 9th, 2024 regular meeting. Acknowledge receipt of Planning Commission minutes for the March 5th, 2024 regular meeting. Acknowledge receipt of monthly contract report from March 27th, 2024 to April 15th, 2024. Acknowledgement of disbursements for March 21st, 2024 through April 12th, 2024. Final reading of Bill Number 6436, an ordinance amending the adopted 2024 budget for the City of Branson to adjust monies in the Transportation Fund for an increase in the capital equipment account. Final reading of Bill Number 6438, an ordinance approving the contract with Environmental Systems Research Institute Incorporated for the Enterprise License Agreement and authorizing the mayor to execute the contract. And final reading of Bill Number 6439, an ordinance amending Section 2-136 of the Branson Municipal Code pertaining to residency requirements. Your Honor, that concludes the reading of the consent agenda.
Do I have a motion approving all items on the consent agenda?
So moved. Second.
We have a motion in 2 seconds. Madam Clerk, would you now provide a roll call vote for the consent
Lucas?
agenda?
Aye.
Denham? Cooper?
Yes.
Howden?
Yes.
LeBlanc?
Yes.
Schultz?
Yes.
The result of the vote is 5-0. Motion carries. Your Honor, the next item is the public hearing and first reading of Bill Number 6440, an ordinance amending Chapter 94 of the Branson Municipal Code, clarifying the exclusion of multifamily dwellings in the entertainment zoning district.
So we will now open this public hearing and begin with a staff report from Amanda Ross.
Thank you. All right. Municipal zoning regulations serve as a blueprint for development, guiding the use of land and shaping communities. Staff is recommending a change to Chapter 94 of the Municipal Code to exclude multifamily dwellings in the entertainment district. I'd like to start with some recent background to date. On February 13th, the Board of Aldermen study session was held where concerns over the development of multifamily dwellings in the entertainment district were expressed. On February 27th, Board of Aldermen regular meeting, a resolution was passed for a 90-day administrative delay on all applications and permits related to multifamily housing developments in the ENT district. On March 13th, a notice of public hearing was advertised. And on April 2nd, the Planning and Zoning Commission passed a resolution excluding multifamily dwelling in the entertainment district. This slide shows the timeline for the 90-day moratorium. As indicated here in red, we are currently on schedule with a possible final read on 5/14. The majority of inquiries have have had are related to extended stay hotels, motels operating without a license and facing code violations. Current zoning challenges are that the entertainment district lacks density requirements. I'd like to discuss some potential drawbacks of converting a failing motel hotel into a multifamily dwelling. Without annual lodging establishment inspections, there's a risk of neglecting maintenance or safety issues that would otherwise be addressed through regular inspections. Absence of county health inspections raise concerns about sanitation and health standards, which could impact the well-being of residents. By bypassing city lodging permits and state lodging license, there may be implications and non-compliance with regulations, potentially leading to fines. Not collecting lodging taxes can result in a loss for local government, affecting budgets for essential services and community development initiatives. Without state inspections, there's a risk of substandard living conditions or safety hazards going unnoticed, compromising the quality of life for residents. The Planning and Development Department has established specific criteria that must be satisfied according to the current code to ensure a successful conversion. The existing structure must be situated within a zoning district that allows for multifamily development. Additionally, the existing structure must adhere to the current density requirements outlined in the zoning regulations to proceed with the conversion process effectively. The current code lacks specific dimensional standards for the entertainment district. Unlike other districts permitting multifamily developments, which offer clear dimensional standards. Here you can see the entertainment does not offer any density. Next, we'll look at the impact of density requirements on city resources. This may be familiar information to you from the study session. In 2023, a property that's meeting density requirements generated 88 computer-aided dispatch calls, 49 police calls, and 33 fire calls. This slide references a property exceeding density, resulting in a drastic contrast in city resources being utilized, with 777 computer-aided dispatch calls, 531 police calls, and 174 fire calls. This data illustrates that exceeding density requirements results in a substantial increase in the utilization of city resources, specifically in emergency services such as police and fire. Therefore, it is critical for planners and policymakers to enforce density regulations effectively to manage the strain on resources and ensure the efficient provision of essential services to residents. Staff has identified 3 sections of the current code where inconsistencies have been detected. Staff recommends amending the code by introducing a provision that prohibits multifamily dwellings within the table of permitted uses in the entertainment district. As you can see here in red, this would be the change. The second would be to amend Table 94-48.1, Building Types by Zone District, to remove multifamily dwellings from the entertainment district. The third is to revise the Table of Permitted Uses by prohibiting multifamily dwellings as a permitted use in the entertainment district. The Planning Commission voted unanimously to approve the proposed code during the April 2nd meeting. Staff supports the proposed municipal code amendment throughout Chapter 94 to exclude multifamily dwellings in the entertainment zoning district to protect the integrity of the entertainment district.
Very well presented, Amanda.
Thank you, sir.
Are there any members of the board wishing to speak regarding this matter?
I'm just glad to see it.
Anyone in the audience wishing to speak to this? So, this public hearing is now closed. You have heard the first reading of Bill number 6440. Do I have a motion approving this bill?
So move.
We have a motion and a second. Any members of the board wishing to speak to this again?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I think it's a great initiative. Simply, when you take out all the, like, everybody always thinks we're after this tax money and whatnot, but when you look at the level of safety that these things are the level of safety that's not met.
The demand.
The demand. It's incumbent on us to ensure that we are meeting these density requirements because, that one particular dwelling, I mean, it's almost double what the normal density would be. And, if it's just one of those issues where, you're trying to solve an issue of affordable housing, but we can't do that and disregard the safety component of this. And I just want people to recognize that that's really what this is mostly about is just the safety component of this and why we're having to take this initiative, because we just don't want to put ourselves in a position where, we compromise those principles. And so I think it's a very, very well laid out, very well planned, and, I'm glad we're moving forward on this for sure.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I just want to say thanks to Amanda and Alex and Hillary. They spent some time with me the other day briefing me on this issue since I had missed the previous meeting about it, and I really appreciate your insight, Amanda.
You're welcome.
Okay, then it's time to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it.
Thank you.
Your Honor, the next item is appointments. The appointment process is in accordance with the Board and Committee appointments procedure for Category 5 appointments made by the mayor with approval by the Board of Aldermen. Mayor, please announce your slate of appointments to be voted on.
Okay, I would like to appoint to the M. Grant Clark Downtown Airport Board with a term expiring in 2025 as Glenn Schultz. I'd like to appoint to the Park Advisory Board through April 2025 Marshall Howden. And I'd like to appoint to the Planning Commission with a term expiring in April 2025 as Ruth Denham. Do I have a motion to approve the slate of appointments for Category 5 as presented?
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, let's vote. All in favor, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. I want to thank Marshall, Glenn, and Ruth for continuing to serve.
Your Honor, the next item is also appointments. The appointment procedure is in accordance with Category 4 of our procedure, made by the mayor but not approved by the Board of Aldermen. Mayor, please announce your appointments.
I'd like to announce to the Taney County Partnership Board with a term expiring of April 2025 is Artie. Appointment to the Chamber of Commerce representative for the city with a term expiring April 2025 is Marshall Howden. Appointment to the Finance Committee with a term expiring April 2025. Ralph LeBlanc, Glenn Schultz, Ruth Denham, sorry, I spaced the name. Oh. And Jerry Buckley. Sorry, I had a name for it.
Mayor, just really, so these are just Board of Aldermen representatives. We have the citizen
Oh, we
members
have to do
coming
the
up.
citizens later.
Correct, yes.
Finance. Okay, then let me just rephrase it. Appointments to the Finance Committee with a term expiring April 2025 is Ralph LeBlanc, Glenn Schultz, and Ruth Denham. Oh, see how easy and quick that was? And the appointment to the HR Committee with a term expiring April 2025, Ralph LeBlanc, Clay Cooper, and Artie. So you don't get a choice to say no. Thank you for your willingness to serve. We are at the report section of our meeting. Let's start off with Artie. Anything you want to share, Artie?
At this point, I'm totally dumbfounded, no.
That's two of us. Clay?
We had our annual Branson Music Fest at the theater this year, or this last weekend, and it was a huge turnout. We had over 1,000 people each day and 25 Branson acts on stage. And I just wanted to say thank you to all the entertainers that came out and volunteered their time. And it was just a great event. We had many motor coaches that come into town and get to see a little showcase of different entertainment. And I just wanted to say publicly thank you to all the 25 acts that came to the theater and performed. And what's that mean? Oh, it was fun, huh? Yeah. So anyhow, that's it. Thank you.
I was going to call
didn't know that sign language. Or what?
I was about to call a point of order. Marshall?
Mr. Mayor, I just want to express my appreciation to get to serve on the Parks Board again, as well as my appreciation that you've appointed me to the Chamber Board of Directors. Working alongside Pam Yancey is just a dream. And I really appreciate that, as that has been at the forefront of my movement, and what I've done as an alderman is making sure that our town is marketed with faith, family, flag, that our live music shows and theaters are prioritized. And I'm just so thrilled at where we're at with the leadership of Kathy here, and look forward to serving on another year on that chamber board. So,
Thank you, Marshall. Ralph?
So, Mr. Mayor, we had a proclamation for National Firefighters Day, International Firefighters Day, and, you know, the guys showed up in uniform, and I just want to make a comment. I wanted to make this before they left, but, you know, I see a lot of these gentlemen outside of uniform, and I could say that as a representative of this city, that in and out of uniform, those gentlemen represent us well. They are always willing to be helpful to other community members, and they hold themselves in high esteem, and they act accordingly. And so even when nobody's looking, these guys are representing, and they're representing our community well. And I just want to thank them outside of, you know, their time when they're on duty, even off duty. They do a great job. And sorry for the police department on that softball team. Man, they got beat bad. Ooh.
Glenn?
Yeah, first I want to also say thank you for the appointments to the committee. When I was approached about the airport committee, I thought it was rather ironic because I have two sons that are pilots, one of which is a professional pilot that have flown into that airport many times, so it should be...
He doesn't fly Southwest.
No. So it should be very enjoyable to be on that board. I'm looking forward to it. We had a great meeting here, what was that, 2 weeks ago with the downtown businesses to talk about Plum Nelly and events in general downtown and parking related to that. I think it was a great informational meeting. We didn't really have a chance to solve anything at that meeting, and then Plum Nelly occurred, I think it was the weekend right after that meeting. But I think we got some great input from our business leaders of things that we should be looking about and thinking about. And Artie and I have already talked about that, and do have a plan of meeting with the business owners, following up with them, and trying to get a little bit more proactive going forward on some of those issues, working with Kathy and her staff to the best of our ability to do that. And then I also just want to welcome Artie to the board. I got to know Artie during the campaign time. So when the mayor called me and said, hey, I'm thinking about nominating this guy Artie, and he was all set to explain to me who he was, I said, just stop. I know him already, and I think you couldn't have picked a better person to serve on the board. So it's going to be a great honor, Artie, serving with you in Ward 2. I think we've already agreed we're going to have a meet and greet meeting sometime here in the near future for our ward so that people can sit down and get to know us a bit and share their thoughts for the ward with us. And I'm looking forward to actively serving with you in the community, Artie. Congratulations.
Kathy? If you don't mind, I'd like to take a moment of silence. You know that we had a Branson police officer, retired officer, Frank Hirahara, I believe it's pronounced. He has passed, And so if you don't mind, let's just have a moment of silence for him. Thank you. I know Ted mentioned it earlier. I just want to remind everybody, fire station grand opening, May 1st at 10 o'clock. And I'm sure you're all interested, the NFL draft starts this week, right?
Yeah.
That'll be exciting. That's all I have. There's no session. So do I have a motion to adjourn this Board of Aldermen meeting?
Second.
We have a motion, second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. This meeting's adjourned. Thank you.